Guillermo del Toro has made a name for himself as a visionary in the world of fantasy film.
And for the second installment, they return with essentially the same cast and crew.
But with a few minor additions and substitutions, is the magic still there? There was a lot of hype leading up to the release of Hellboy 2 based on the success of Hellboy 1, with the adventures of Hellboy and Liz and Abe Sapien and their battles against evil and all that great stuff.
Yeah, this is a great comic book that I never actually read myself, but had a big cult following, great characters, great writing, great ideas. The art was sort of not everybody's taste. It was a little more impressionistic than realistic, but it still had a good following and a lot of depth as far as being able to tell new stories on screen.
And it was one of those movies that lent itself to Del Toro's strengths, which is creatures and making things creepy and different and unique. And with Hellboy 2, he really, I found, really hit his mark, because you got to create this entire world, or this underground city of creatures of every shape and size. So he probably just had a field day with his imagination, you know, like, hey, we'll put eyes in the hands and eyes on the nose. We'll put eyes in the belly, and like he puts eyes everywhere on his creatures, which is sort of like, I won't say his trademark, but one of the defining points of his character styles.
Well, yeah, some of the early hype really talked about how much work he put into doing the troll market, where a lot of stuff went on, but really, for all the hype and all the design and all the characters that were in there, that particular scene did not actually last that long. It was a very short little reconnaissance that went on there, a little bit of fighting, a little bit of talking, a little bit of character exposition, but then they were out and they never came back.
True, but the detail in that scene was so good. Like, it makes the cantina scene in Star Wars just pale in comparison for like the amount of stuff you can cram into a little area that has such uniqueness and design to it.
Yeah, it was definitely signature Guillermo, yeah, for sure.
Kill them! But he lied to us!
Hey, old buddy, if we ever get out of this, we gotta talk.
I was so excited going into this movie when I heard it was coming out, and I actually went to a midnight screening of it. That's how pumped I was. And I walked out of it just so happy. It was just what I wanted. It was fantasy, it was action, it was comedy, creatures were amazing. You know, I couldn't get enough of it, and I really enjoyed it. There are some things that I didn't like, but they were so minimal compared to the overall picture that I was like, I can't wait to get this on DVD. It's like, I'm totally gonna get it and put it in my collection.
Well, I couldn't have gone in more excited, more hyped about it, based on, like, I really was a huge fan of Hellboy 1, really enjoyed it. And going into Hellboy 2, it's just basically essentially the same cast, same crew. And as such, I was majorly disappointed. It really was supposed to be, as far as I was concerned, was gonna be the best movie of the summer. It was gonna be better than anything that anybody had ever seen, because he had broken everybody in, had gotten all the intro stuff out of the way, and could just go full story. I didn't like the script. I didn't like how they changed some of the characters around. Jeffrey Tambor's character turned from like really arrogant jerk to a total sycophant, which was not cool. They changed Abe Sapien's voice. They got rid of Myers. I don't know why. They just didn't figure he worked, although he was basically the main character of the first movie, because the whole story was told through his eyes. He had the last words in the last movie. Instead, in here, he was just an afterthought and then gone. I didn't like the interaction between Hellboy and Liz. It seemed stilted and kind of artificial. That being said, it was not the best movie this summer. I still enjoyed it, but it just was a major disappointment because it was supposed to be the best, and it was only just really good.
Well, that's too bad you feel that way, but you're entitled to your opinions, as wrong as they are sometimes. When I walked out of it, I was like, I can't wait for Steve to see this. He's gonna love it. Like, it's so amazing and visual, and the details, like the Golden Army itself was so cool, like these little golden robots. The backstory to that I thought was amazing. When the animation, when Hellboy was a child, and his father, quote unquote, was telling him the story of the Golden Army and its creation, they used a totally different animation style. It was more of a hand-drawn look, which I thought looked so good.
Yeah, except Hellboy looked like a total freak. Like,
Hellboy
really
is a total freak, though.
I don't even understand how he was supposed to be able to close his mouth. His teeth were so big. He always seemed to me like he was more humanoid. The adolescent version of Hellboy did not match up to the baby version of Hellboy, nor to the so-called adult version of him. Not impressed.
Well, be that as it may, I was I was absolutely impressed with this movie, and I can't wait for the third part.
Much like the original Hellboy, this particular edition on the DVD and Blu-ray are both loaded with features. Guillermo's really big on trying to show a lot of the production diaries, the making ofs. He likes to do little intros and stuff for all the things that he's doing. So there's a lot of value-added features in this particular DVD and Blu-ray release.
Well, see, I thought it was very good, and I enjoyed it from beginning to end. Visually stunning, the creatures were amazing, and I couldn't wait to put it in my collection. It's definitely going in the vault.
I'm saying that it was a major disappointment, even though I still liked it. It did not satisfy all my requirements. However, I would still definitely put this in my collection. I'd make it a keeper, absolutely.